What is going on, everyone, and welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by FPL Salah, whose wildcard is active. Very interested to see what team he's gonna go for. Now, don't worry, guys. I know normally we build each player position by position and kind of tease you along the way, but in this one we're just going to show you straight off the bat the full team, and Abdul is going to explain it. And yeah, I think it'd be good to see the whole team just straight away and see Abdul's reasoning for going for that. Before we do that, though, I think it's important just to look back at your team from last week. I actually had a pretty good game week, to be fair, for someone that wasn't on a chip. Just talk to us a little bit about the game week and also your reasoning for then wildcarding this week. I know it was always the plan, but yeah, why have you activated the wildcard?
Yeah, just as you said, it was all the plan. Wildcard 35, bench was 37. But yeah, this like the game week. I think I was saved by Mateta. I mean, 105 points. I think for a team who hasn't free hitted, I think was okay.
Mm.
A decent little rank rise. So obviously got Foden in that to go today, but I'll take it. It's just I was saying to you off air as well. It's probably the swingiest game week I've ever experienced in certain years of playing. It's just like everything that you can think of went right for the free hitters. Not only like the players that returned, like White and Havertz, even Brereton Diaz, who was fairly popular
Yeah.
differential. Even he scored, and then the likes of Haaland missing out, Palmer missing out. Yeah, it was a perfect storm for free hitters.
Yeah, I mean, I was just ranting there as well before we started recording. Actually, let's just chuck in a little bit of me ranting there. Just brutal. Let's just see it. Such a bad week. So, I had like 12 doublers, and one of my only returns was Zabani on the bench.
Madness,
I
man.
was like,
Absolutely
mate, what a
madness.
joke. All right, but coming back to your team now, yeah, I mean, Mateta just absolutely smashed it. What a game week for him. But yeah, explain to the viewers why you're on wildcard now. Does this team not look that good then for the next week?
Yeah, no, I mean, like I did end into this game week, so it was
Okay.
never planned to go ahead with this. So I had this plan for since game week 30 basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, in theory it went okay. I think injuries wise it went okay. It's just that and I had a good result as well, but it's just that the free hitters had an insane amount of variance gone their way. So that was a bit of a dampener.
Right, let's get into it. Here it is. Team is on screen. There you go. Bang.
Yeah.
Looks super strong. It looks like it's a reasonable team that is it's not I mean, yes, it's template, but it's template kind of for a reason in terms of the attackers. I feel like these are the attackers that a lot of people are going for. It's very likely to be my front eight. The defense is where it is slightly different, and obviously there are some flags there as well. So I think let's just go for it. Let's talk about what are the main sort of talking points for your decision making.
Yeah. So I think because we've got a double game week in 35 and 37, and then Chelsea and Spurs, doubling both those game weeks. I think you've got to have I think at least like I say three Chelsea and probably at least two Spurs, right?
Mm.
I don't think the Spurs defense is that kind of just with especially if Porro's out, you could possibly go down with the Spurs defense, but that's why I've gone with three Chelsea and three Spurs, just two double game weeks over the two double game weeks over the next two, so they've got two extra games over everybody else, right?
Yeah.
And no matter how bad the team is, I know people will say you've got Jackson there, you've got like Spurs defense who's terrible. That is true, but they have got two extra games, and I think that does make their investment worthwhile. So I'm just maximizing the fixtures here. So I've gone for Ederson, Vicario and goal. So obviously Vicario, I think he's probably he racks up the save points and that, and he can he's averaging like 2 point saves per game, which is great.
Mm.
And if he manages to kind of fluke one clean sheet, then he's on for a big haul. And then obviously Ederson for the game week in double game week in 37. So basically all the players I've picked here are for the double game weeks. Um, so I've got Newcastle, Chelsea. Obviously, there's kind of question marks on Gusto, Palmer, Porro, and Haaland, right? We know they're kind of yellow flag, but that's obviously dependent on. I think most of them will be fine. I think Porro's been in training, so he should be fit for the weekend.
Palmer
Um,
also been in training as well.
oh, has he?
Yeah.
I didn't. I've been working all day, so yeah, that's good news. So Palmer's in training, so he should be fine. Haaland. I mean, I would prefer for Haaland to be out this week and be
Yeah.
fit for next week because that's a really big advantage for wildcard 35 managers because like in this current draft, like the wildcard, I've got Foden on the bench. So, if Haaland's out this week, it's perfect because then, that kind of leaves the guys who free hitted last week, in a bit of a conundrum. Probably have to, bench Haaland, whereas we can play Foden, bench
Yeah.
Haaland and keep Haaland, for the double game week. So I would prefer that. So I've got Haaland in there at the moment. I don't think he'll be out, long term. So he's in there. And I think that the midfield and attack kind of picks itself, I think. I think the only kind of position of dispute for me is Gordon. I think he could potentially become a Brennan Johnson, and he
Yeah, I want
could
to ask you about
potentially
this.
become a
Obviously,
Madison.
because that will change your the rest of your Tottenham players, which I
Yeah,
think is a very important point. Is that if you were to, it's not about just swapping one player for another. You can't just go Gordon to
yeah,
Johnson because then if you go Gordon to Johnson, you're probably then going a Tottenham defender to a Newcastle defender. And if it's not a Newcastle defender, say you go for like Onana in goal or
yeah,
something, then you have another spare Newcastle slot to use. So it's all kind of like every move sort of affects the next move, and we saw it a little bit on free hit. To be fair, last week.
yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about Gordon because I do feel like the rest of your kind of attackers are pretty nailed. Is there an option to really go aggressive with the Tottenham doubles and think that they're decent for attacking fixtures, whereas they're not as good? I mean, Tottenham in general are a better attack than they are a
Yeah,
defense.
definitely.
What do you think about going for a Johnson or maybe even a Richarlison or a Madison?
Yeah, I mean, Richarlison's a good shout because if Richarlison's fit, right, then
Yeah.
and if he's been training this week and he's looking good for minutes this weekend, then he will definitely be my like seconds. I think it'd be hard not to find a way to get him
Okay.
into my team because he'll be playing as a number 9, and we've seen what he's capable of in that position this season. He's been fantastic. So, and yeah, so Spurs attack, you'd fancy them against anybody. So if they've got a double game week, you ideally want to have two attackers. But if Richarlison isn't there, Maddison, since he's been back from his injury, he's not been in the same kind of form and not showing the same stats as he was at the start of the season before the injury. Brennan Johnson, I think he is nailed. I mean, I think he's first choice at the moment, but there is still that kind of doubt there around his starting berth. I think when you've got two doubles coming up, then I think it's kind of risky to go with him. So right now, I'm on Gordon. I think he looks like a safe pick. But I think if Porro's fit, which it looks like he is, then I think I'll stick with that midfield.
Yeah. No, I mean that is the midfield I'm on as well. No doubt about it. I love Gordon. I think that a lot of people that are looking perhaps at a Newcastle double defence are just, I think, forgetting how good Gordon is and has been this season for his
Yeah.
price as well. And the home fixtures, even like Sheffield United at home this week. I mean, that is just really hard to ignore as a one-off fixture.
Yeah, and look, I was checking Gordon's stats. So he's got 11 goals, 13 goals and 10 assists. 11 of his goals and 9 of his assists have come at
Yeah,
home,
crazy.
which is insane. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it is. You could say that it's a short sample size, but there could be something in that, and you're not going to get a better fixture than Sheffield United at home. So yeah,
There's definitely something in that. I mean, he just does look better at home. He just plays phenomenally well at home. I think he also does play well away. I think it's just more
yeah,
that the team are slightly less aggressive and they don't tend to win as many sort of balls higher up the pitch in terms of transition where he can be so deadly. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean Sheffield United at home is such a plum fixture. They're all but relegated
yeah.
now as well.
It's the best fixture you can ask for. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the defense a little bit more then and just the flags in general. Do you know? I mean, Porro's been in training, so that flag should disappear. Gusto is one. Do you know what's going on there? Because we haven't really had a concrete update about him.
No, and I would really like him to be fit because if he's not fit, then I'd probably have to go for Petrovic and like Gvardiol or Diaz
Yeah,
instead, right? And I really don't want a Man City defender
yeah.
because Diaz and Gvardiol, I guess he'll play most of the games. They probably get benched in one, but you'd rather have Ederson there from the City defence, who probably won't get rested in any, and especially if the title race goes down to the last day of the season. So yeah, I mean Gusto, I'm just waiting on that. We've not had anything as far as I know on his fitness. I think it was a knee injury he got last week, so I'm going to wait on that. But again, if he's out, then of course, I'm gonna go for Petrovic instead because I think for me, I think 3 Chelsea is pretty much locked on my wild card, however it may
Yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah. Let me just ask you in general then, just about, I mean, doubles. Is it definitely worth going for these sort of players? I mean, the likes of Jackson. I know I already asked you, but just looking at them, kind of just recently, he's been playing well, but in terms of like FPL points in not just fantasy, not just in the Premier League, but also like say the FA Cup as well.
Mhm.
It just isn't getting any sort of real attacking returns consistently. I mean, and he had a good game against Everton, but that was more of a one-off.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah. Do you? I mean, to be fair, they did play very well against Everton. I just
Yeah.
do you think that it's definitely worth getting players in that have these fixtures just because they have the fixtures over players that have been so good throughout the season?
Look, see if they just had the one double, then you can make a case for it. But as there's two doubles in the space of 2 weeks. I don't think it's negotiable. For me, it's not.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I look,
I'm just thinking of like Watkins, for example, who a lot of people sold, and he doesn't have the best
uh,
fixtures, but he's been so good all season.
yeah,
What do you think?
yeah. I mean, look, these things happen, but like I think majority of the time, it's that old that saying that you'd rather have two tickets to the lottery than one, right? I
But
mean,
what if the tickets are Nicholas Jackson?
well, yeah, that's a good point. But look, the thing is, he's not a terrible asset. Like he's a raw player, right? He's not like he's a Cameron actor or something, or
Yeah,
for Chelsea. He's got 10 goals and 5 assists this season, right? And he's shown that in patches he can score, and he gets the chances, but he's just not there in the finishing department just now. So the way I look at it is, look, I would always back like a player playing for a team like Chelsea. I'd always back them, with two extra games over even a player like Watkins, even though FPL wise, there's no kind of comparison in who's a better
mm,
who the better asset is. You know what I mean? Watkins is one of the best assets in the game, 19 goals and 17 assists, with no penalties.
that's
But
incredible. Wow.
yeah, it's insane, right? But I just think so. Like if Jackson just say plays those 4 games, that's 8 points in the bag. Considering he doesn't get booked. I know he gets booked a lot, but that's 8 points there already in appearance points. So for me, that's just too it's too good to turn down. I mean, look, all he needs is like maybe he gets 2 to 3 tackling in turns over those 4 games.
Yeah.
That's enough for me.
Yeah. No, I completely understand. I do also think that something that helps these doublers is that actually the single game week fixtures around them aren't that good. I mean, say like Watkins had a really I mean, I say that arguably he does this week, but say you had say a Burnley at home or a Sheffield United at home rather than playing against Chelsea. I know. I'm a Chelsea fan. Just leave me alone. Say you had like a really really plum fixture.
Yeah.
I can't even say it with a straight face, but maybe then it would be more of a decision. I think similarly for the defenders as well. You're looking at the likes of Porro and Gusto and thinking, I mean, where are the clean sheets going to come from? But if you look at just the defenders as a whole, this game week in particular, and also some game weeks going forward, the clean sheets aren't super obvious. I think the only real defense that, I mean, to be fair, it's been the case all season that you can put your hat on really is Arsenal, and that is why you still got Gabriel in there.
Yeah.
Would you be tempted to go for a double Arsenal defence, or are you happy with just the one and then going for a Dallo instead, just for the fixtures?
No, I mean, me keeping like 'cause I've not actually sold Saliba yet, like on
Okay.
my actual team. So keeping an Arsenal a double Arsenal defense is still like a possibility for me, because if you look at I mean, look, they've got the one thing that's put me off is that the good thing about it is like they've got Bournemouth and Everton on either side, so 36 and 38, which are fantastic fixtures. You'd probably say, look, that's 2 clean sheets there. But the thing that's put me off is bench boosting my double
Yeah.
Arsenal defence against Man United away. And although Man United have been terrible, like they're at home, it's at Old Trafford, and I had a look at the clean sheet odds for that week, early on FPL review. It's about 31%, right? Which to away at Old Trafford, that's quite high, but still, almost a 70% chance that United score. And then you're kind of banking on probably attacking returns, right? In which they
Yeah.
could get, but it's not likely. So it's a bit of a conundrum because the game weeks around it are fantastic.
Mm.
But the game week I want a bench boost isn't. So that's where I'm kind of at with that. But if Gusto's out and Poro's out, and then who do I go for? Then then I might have to just go for the double Arsenal defense.
All right. Before we get onto captaincy for this week, I just want to ask you: say you were massively chasing in a mini league and you had to go super different. You're 100 points behind or whatever. Just one sort of punty player on a wild card for each position.
So I think Brighton have been a wee bit overlooked as well this for in
Okay,
this
in
draft.
general, yeah,
So I just think that although we know Desiree likes to rotate, but I think Joao Pedro might be a great option for one of the forwards. Like if you don't want a Nicholas Jackson or you don't want to go for maybe Isaac, because Callum Wilson's back, then he is, I'd say, their most nailed attacker after Pascal Gross. He can play like three positions up front. He's played like second striker. He's played as a forward. And I think his minutes are looking pretty good. And they're an attacking team, so they could do well. And like you're looking at a Gross as well. He done really well at the start of the season. He's been a bit quiet recently, but he's their most nailed attacker. So if you want to go for a differential in midfield, then Gross is good, and in defence, Van Heck is in it with the equation as well. Obviously he's only like what 4.4 million. He
It's
started.
4.1.
Oh, he's 4.1 now.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think
Wow.
he, for some
That's
reason he keeps
unbelievable.
dropping. It's crazy. I think he
That's
was
unbelievable.
4.2. I think it must have dropped again.
Yeah, because look again, if you want to go for a differential, why not? He's got a bit of attacking threat, and if the likes of Gusto are out, and if I guess if you want to go for like a KDB in midfield as well, who's a good differential,
Yeah,
especially with Haaland out, and the thing with KDB as well is
good
if you
point.
look at City's games from now until the end of the season, there's not much like I don't think there's gonna be much rotation because there's they've got a good gap in between games. The FA Cup finals after when the season finishes. So KDB is actually a good shout, and a player like a Van Heck can kind of accommodate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, De Bruyne is one that we saw last season could just go absolutely nuclear in a double. Wouldn't surprise me. Okay, let's round things off then with captaincy. Seems to be between two players this week. Who are you thinking?
For me, if Palmer's fit, it's got to be him. I mean, wow, like 20 goals, 10 assists is unbelievable.
It's so insane.
And we know nobody's taking penalties off him now after what happened.
They better not. They better not. That was
Yeah.
embarrassing.
So yeah, I mean, he's got 9 penalties, but still, you've got to score them.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable. He's actually in the race with a golden boot, which is wow. Like it's if you told me that at the start of the season, I would just say you were mad. But
I know. Imagine the Golden Boot being won not just by a team that's wherever you finish, seventh, eighth, maybe even ninth, but also not by a striker, just by a midfielder, an attacking midfielder. You just be like, what's happened?
yeah,
But yeah, such is the season he's having.
what
Okay.
what a player! What a player!
Yeah. There you go. Hope he stays. I'm a little bit anxious that he might just move on and just say I'm better than all of this, which he definitely is. Anyway, that's going to do it, mate. Team looks really good. Guys, if you would like to build your own wildcard team and see if you can beat Abdul's predicted points, team rating, Gameweek rating, as you can see at the top of the screen there, then the link to do so for free is down below. Then if you want to see what the best possible team is, you can go one step further, click over here on AI teams and see, according to Fantasy Football Hub's AI data algorithm, what the best possible Wildcard 35 team is. Abdul, mate, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hope for another green arrow next week. You look
Yeah.
to be overtaking me pretty soon, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but yeah, what can I say? Swinging game week last week, but yeah, thank you, and thank you guys for watching.
Thanks, guys.